Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode. I'm absolutely delighted you've chosen to spend the next 20 minutes with me today. If you're new here, a massive welcome to you too. Today, we're diving into something that's been on my mind quite a lot lately, and I suspect it's been on yours as well. It's this insidious habit we've all developed, this constant measuring ourselves against others. Yes, we're talking about comparison, that thief of joy, that silent saboteur of our self-worth. Now, before we go any further, I want you to do something for me. Take a deep breath. Really, do it with me. Breathe in and out. Because what we're about to discuss might feel a bit uncomfortable at first, but I promise you, by the end of this conversation, you'll have some proper tools to break free from this exhausting cycle.
Let me start with a confession. Just last week, I found myself scrolling through Instagram at 11:30 at night. Never a good idea, is it? And I stumbled upon a post from someone I went to university with. There she was, announcing her promotion to creative director at some fancy London agency, looking absolutely radiant in her perfectly curated office space. And do you know what my first thought was? It wasn't good for her or how wonderful. No, it was, what am I doing with my life? In that moment, I felt small. I felt behind. I felt like I was failing at some invisible race I didn't even know I was running. And that's the thing about comparison, isn't it? It sneaks up on you when you're least expecting it, turning your perfectly adequate life into something that suddenly feels insufficient. But here's what I've learned and what I want to share with you today. Comparison is not just unhelpful, it's completely illogical. And I'm going to tell you why. First off, we're comparing our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. That woman with the perfect promotion, I don't know about the nights she cried herself to sleep during her divorce last year. I don't know about her struggles with anxiety or the fact that she's been working 16-hour days and hasn't seen her mates in months. Social media, in particular, has created this brilliant illusion that everyone else has got it sorted. We see the holiday photos, the achievements, the perfect Sunday roasts, the gym selfies, but we don't see the credit card statements, the relationship arguments, the Sunday blues, or the days when getting out of bed feels like climbing Everest. You're comparing your unfiltered reality to someone else's carefully curated fiction. It's like comparing your rough draft to someone else's published novel. Of course you're going to come up short. You're not even playing the same game.
Here's another thing we get wrong. We assume everyone's journey should look the same. We've created this myth of linear success, that everyone should hit certain milestones at certain ages. Graduated by 22, career sorted by 25, married by 30, house bought by 32, children by 35. It's absolute nonsense. Life isn't a conveyor belt. It's more like a winding country road with unexpected detours, beautiful scenic routes, and sometimes, yes, a few potholes along the way. Some people take the motorway and get there quickly. Others take the scenic route and arrive with better stories. Neither is wrong. I know someone who didn't start their dream career until they were 45. I know someone else who achieved massive success at 23 and then spent the next decade trying to figure out what happiness actually meant. I know people who've been married and divorced twice, and people who found their soulmate at 60. There's no universal timeline for a life well lived.
When we're constantly looking sideways at what everyone else is doing, we stop looking forward at where we want to go. Comparison kills creativity because it makes us want to copy rather than create. It makes us want to fit in rather than stand out. Think about the artists, writers, entrepreneurs, and innovators you admire most. What makes them special isn't that they did what everyone else was doing, but that they had the courage to do something different. They weren't comparing themselves to others, they were too busy becoming themselves. When you're focused on comparison, you're in reactive mode. You're responding to what others are doing rather than proactively creating the life you actually want. You're playing catch-up in a game where the rules keep changing and the finish line keeps moving.
Let's talk about energy for a moment. Comparison is absolutely exhausting. It's like running on a treadmill. You're expending enormous amounts of energy, but not actually getting anywhere. Every moment you spend measuring yourself against others is a moment you're not spending on your own growth, your own goals, your own joy. I've noticed that my most unhappy periods have been when I've been most focused on what everyone else was doing. And my happiest, most productive periods, they've been when I've been too absorbed in my own work, my own relationships, my own interests to pay much attention to anyone else's highlight reel.
Here's something crucial we often forget. We all define success differently. Your version of a life well lived might be completely different from mine, and that's not just okay, it's necessary. For some people, success is the corner office and the six-figure salary. For others, it's the freedom to work from a beach in Bali. Some people find fulfillment in raising children. Others find it in pursuing art or in serving their community or in learning new skills well into their 80s. When you compare yourself to others, you're often comparing your life to their definition of success, not your own. You're measuring yourself against values that might not even be yours. It's like trying to win a football match using cricket rules. Of course you're going to feel confused and frustrated. Your struggles, your setbacks, your unconventional path, these aren't bugs in your life's program. They're features. They're what make you uniquely qualified to help certain people, to solve certain problems, to offer certain perspectives. The person who struggled with anxiety for years and learned to manage it, they can help others in a way that someone who's never experienced mental health challenges simply cannot. The person who changed careers 3 times before finding their calling, they have insights about resilience and self-discovery that someone on a linear path might not possess. Your scars are your superpowers. Your detours have given you wisdom. Your timeline is creating a story that only you can tell. Right, so how do we actually stop this madness? Here are some strategies that have genuinely helped me. Curate your input carefully. If following certain people on social media makes you feel rubbish about yourself, unfollow them. It's not personal, it's self-preservation. Fill your feeds with people who inspire you rather than intimidate you. Practice gratitude for your own journey. Every evening, write down 3 things about your own life that you're grateful for. Not in comparison to anyone else, just things that bring you joy or satisfaction. Focus on your own metrics. Instead of comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20, focus on whether you're moving forward from where you were yesterday, last month, last year. Remember that everyone is struggling with something. That person who seems to have it all sorted, They're dealing with their own challenges, fears, and insecurities. Success doesn't eliminate problems, it just changes them. Celebrate others without diminishing yourself. When someone achieves something wonderful, try to genuinely celebrate them without making it about what you lack. Their success doesn't diminish your potential for success. When you stop comparing yourself to others, something magical happens. You start becoming more authentically yourself. You stop trying to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be and start exploring who you actually are. This is where the real joy lives, not in being better than others, but in being truer to yourself, not in winning some imaginary competition, but in creating a life that feels genuinely satisfying to you. So here's what I want you to remember from our chat today. Your life is not a competition. It's not a race where everyone starts at the same line and heads towards the same finish. It's a unique work of art that only you can create. The person next to you might be painting a landscape while you're crafting a sculpture. The person behind you might be writing poetry while you're composing music. None of these is better or worse. They're just different expressions of human creativity and experience. Your job isn't to create someone else's life. Your job isn't to hit someone else's milestones or achieve someone else's dreams. Your job is to be courageously, authentically, unapologetically yourself. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs the first and only version of you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Share your thoughts, your struggles, your victories. Let's create a space where we can all feel a bit less alone in this beautifully messy journey of being human. Until next time, be kind to yourself. You're doing better than you think. You're exactly where you need to be, and your story is still being written. Take care, lovely humans. I'll see you next week.